Hi, my name is Jack Lewis and I'll be analysing the internal environment of HISCOES gym.
I'm Nick Pavlo and I'll be analysing the external environment.
And I'm Jack Holyak and I'll be looking at the business level strategy.
And I'm Shani and I will be discussing whether or not HISCOES could successfully internationalise. Strap yourselves in, you're in for a bumpy ride.
Hi guys, I'm going to start by introducing the internal environment of HISCOES. Through undertaking an internal analysis, I'm going to discuss HISCOES resources, both tangible and intangible, their capabilities and consequently their core competencies. In this video, we will be discussing Sydney-based fitness club HISCOES. HISCOES opened in 1981 and has been run by the same family for 37 years, surviving recessions, the global financial crisis, and numerous changes to the fitness industry. However, in the last few years, the gym has faced an increasingly crowded market, with consulting group IBISWorld warning that market saturation is occurring. Despite intense competition, HISCOES director Susan Kingmill is banking on one aspect of its business to help see it through: the people. According to Miss Kingmill, the fitness industry has always been about the people and passion, and the one thing that sets the HISCOES apart from other gyms is the real, genuine people within the complex that drink beer and eat pizza, and often tell you they don't like exercise. Within this video, we'll be introducing you to HISCOES Gym, as well as analysing their internal processes, the industry in which they operate, their business level strategy, and lastly providing insight into whether HISCOES could successfully internationalise or not. Firstly, I will analyse the internal environment of HISCOES Gym. Resources, capabilities, and core competencies are the foundation for competitive advantage. Displayed here are the components of an internal analysis showing how organisations, such as HISCOES, can achieve a competitive advantage which will result in above average returns. As you can see, the analysis stems from resources, to capabilities, to core competencies, and finally, to a competitive advantage. I will now discuss the resources within HISCOES. According to Hansen, Hitt, Ireland, and Hossakin, resources represent the inputs into a firm's production process and are the source of a firm's capabilities. These can be broken up into tangible and intangible resources. Tangible resources are resources that can be observed and quantified, such as financial, organisational, physical, and technological resources. HISCOES financial resources include the firm's borrowing capacity and ability to generate internal funds, emphasising the importance of customer retention for HISCOES during this time of market saturation. Organisational resources that HISCOES possess include the firm's formal reporting structure and its formal planning, controlling, and coordinating systems, such as organising staff rosters and coordinating delivery of healthy food and drinks to the store. Physical resources include the location of HISCOES Gym, which is situated in Surrey Hills in Sydney, as well as their raw materials, which include the wide array of gym equipment they withhold. Technological resources include their stock of technology, such as HISCOES trademark, which has been existing for 37 years, as well as their trade secrets, such as HISCOES 7-week Healthy Habits Challenge. Secondly, we're going to look at intangible resources, which cannot be observed or quantified and are difficult for competitors to analyse and imitate, such as human resources, innovation resources, and reputational resources. Human resources consist of knowledge, trust, managerial capabilities that members of HISCOES possess. For example, HISCOES head trainer Jim O'Donovan is a qualified personal trainer, was the national coach of the Australian powerlifting team, and has worked within the industry for over 30 years, emphasising the knowledge and managerial capabilities he possesses. Innovation resources can be expressed through a company's ability to generate new ideas, innovate, and utilise scientific capabilities. In addition to their personal training team, HISCOES has an accredited exercise physiologist that specialises in the delivery of exercise for the prevention and management of chronic diseases and injuries. Lastly, HISCOES' ability to operate for 37 consecutive years and withstand hardships such as recessions, the global financial crisis, and numerous changes to the fitness industry builds upon their reputational resources, emphasising to customers that they are a friendly gym that has a high customer retention and ultimately a positive reputation. I will now discuss the major capabilities that HISCOES possesses. According to Hansen, Hitt, Ireland, and Hossakin, capabilities are created when a firm combines individual tangible and intangible resources to produce, distribute, and service the goods or services of a firm, ultimately laying the foundation for core competencies. As seen within the table, the functional areas that HISCOES capabilities stem from are their human resources, management, and marketing. However, in order to determine whether these capabilities can be translated into core competencies, The resource-based view of sustainable competitive advantage must be utilised. The resource-based view suggests that capabilities must meet 4 key criteria in order to be considered core competencies, and in turn a potential source of competitive advantage. They must be valuable, meaning they help a firm neutralise threats or exploit opportunities. They must be rare, meaning they are not possessed by many others. They must be inimitable, meaning they are not easily replicated or too costly to imitate by competitors. And lastly, they must be non-substitutable, meaning that there is no strategic equivalent. As demonstrated within the table, HISCOES possesses core competencies within the functional areas of human resources and management. HISCOE's ability to motivate, empower and retain employees is of an extremely high standard due to it being a family business that has been operative for over 37 years. This means that staff retention is promising in the face of external threats such as a recession and the global financial crisis, which is both valuable and rare as it is not possessed by many others. HISCOE's historical organisational culture and brand name, as well as their interpersonal relationships with customers that have been using the gym for over 20 years, is also very difficult for competitors to imitate due to its longevity. Lastly, it is extremely difficult to operate a family-oriented business successfully in the face of extreme economic fluctuations that have taken place over the past few decades, emphasising their ability to understand the industry, suggesting that there is no strategic equivalent to HISCOE's gym. This stresses that HISCOE's human resource and management capabilities provide the foundation for core competencies, competitive advantage, and ultimately above average returns. And that wraps up the internal analysis. I'll hand you over to Nick now.
So, as mentioned previously, I'll be covering the external analysis. This includes the general environment and the principal industry characteristics, as well as finishing off with the strategic group analysis map. The general environment can be considered the dimensions in the broader society that influence an industry and the firms within it. It is important to note that firms cannot directly control the general environment segments. The general environment is comprised of 7 segments, and today I will run through the major segments that involve the gym and fitness industry of Australia. The first segment is the demographic segment. This is concerned with the characteristics and features of a population. The demographic segment is commonly analysed on a global basis because of the potential effects on national borders and because many firms compete in global markets. When we will look at the demographic segment for the gym and fitness industry of Australia, we can see that their age structure can depend on the type of service customers are looking for a gym. The more basic budget gyms such as HISCOES can target 18 to 39-year-olds, however more structured personal gyms can target people from 16 to 55 years of age who are heavily invested in health as a lifestyle. The emergence of 24-hour gyms has opened the industry up for individuals that cannot afford other gyms and people who can't attend gyms at regular opening hours. This has meant that people earning lower incomes can now afford to buy gym memberships. The recent increase of gyms throughout Australia has meant that they target local customers who can easily access the gym by local transport, driving, or even walking. The economical segment is another very important segment that relates to the fitness and gym centre. This segment refers to the nature and direction of the economy in which a firm competes or may compete in. Firms wish to compete in a relatively stable economies with strong growth potential. The fitness and gym industry has had a sharp rise over recent years due to budget 24-hour gyms and women-only gyms. However, they have largely established their market position and tapped their potential. Over the next 5 years, industry growth is predicted to slow down, as this industry is in the maturity stage of the product life cycle. Due to a natural increase in population, membership numbers are projected to continue to rise over the coming years. However, consumers are likely set to substitute full-service gyms with cheaper 24-hour ones. The industry is predicted to grow at an annualised 2.3% over the 5 years through to 2022 to 2023, reaching $2.5 billion. The technological segment has had a large influence on the industry over the recent years. This segment includes the institutions and activities involved in creating new knowledge and translating that knowledge into new outputs, products, processes, and materials. Communications have dramatically increased and revolve around social media in the fitness industry. This can be referred to as the Fitspo generation, the Instagram generation of selfies and the celebrities out there with enormous followings. Having a high profile in the market has proven to make it easier to attract customers. The global segment includes relevant new global markets, existing markets that are changing, and important international political events. Globalization is in the fitness and gym industry is low, however the trend is increasing. Gyms in Australia are expanding internationally as chains. Fitness First, Curves, Anytime Fitness and Virgin Active are examples of gyms or fitness centres that operate in the UK, US and Australia. This sets as a stepping stone to dive into future Asian markets. Now I will look into the industry environment. An industry can be defined as a group of firms that produce similar products or offer similar services that are close substitutes. The industry environment has a more direct effect on a firm's strategic competitiveness and ability to earn above average rates. An industry's profit potential and attractiveness is determined by Porter's 5 forces model. This considers 5 competitive forces within each industry and states that the stronger of these forces are, the more limited the ability of established companies in the industry is to earn above average returns. The first of Porter's 5 forces is the threat of new entrants. Higher entry barriers tend to increase the returns for existing firms in an industry and may allow some firms to dominate the market. Barriers to entry in the fitness and gym industry is medium. This can be due to significant capital investment, cash flow issues, and a high degree of competition. Starting a gym or fitness centre can be very costly due to the purchase of equipment and staff. There is also a high cost with public liability of insurance. The second step is bargaining power of suppliers. Suppliers' power increases when suppliers are large and few in numbers and suitable substitutes are not available. In the fitness and gym industry, nearly all companies purchase their materials from numerous suppliers. The number of manufacturers is huge, however some specialise in different products than others. The suppliers with a wide variety of products hold more power. The third step is the bargaining power of buyers. Bargaining power of buyers increases when buyers purchase a large portion of an industry's total output and they purchase a significant portion of a seller's revenue. There is a massive demand for people attending gyms in the current day. This large number of buyers decreases the individual's buying power. The fourth step Porter has is the threat of substitute products. This refers to goods or services from outside a given industry that perform similar or the same function as a product within that industry. Substitutes can place a ceiling on the price that you charge, and the threat of substitute increases when buyers face few switching costs and substitute prices is lower. There are a lot of substitute forms of exercise which create large competition for this fitness and gym industry. Many individuals will forego gym memberships as they are getting sufficient exercise through sport. Fitness instructors and personal trainers provide substitute services as well as general do-it-yourself exercise such as jogging, cycling and home fitness. The last step of Porter's forces is the intensity of rivalry among competitors. Rivalry is usually based upon price, service after sale and innovation. There is a massive saturation in the gym and fitness industry, making the competition very intense. Large and medium-sized chains make up majority of the market, meaning that it may be a smarter idea for new entrants to choose to open a new franchise of a chain. This, although, comes with a greater additional cost. Summarising the 5 steps, if you have higher entry barriers, weakly positioned suppliers and buyers, few threats from substitute products, low to moderate rivalry among competitors, then this means you have an attractive industry with high profit potential. As you can see on the image in the screen, we have analysed HISCOES with some of its main competitors in the fitness and gym industry. We have measured the businesses based on their affordability and geographic locations, as these are 2 of the most vital reasons to success in this industry and why customers would choose you over a competitor. This helps businesses analyse themselves against competitors. We can see that HISCOES is quite high on the affordability side due to their low cost for singular visits or memberships. However, they only have 1 singular facility in New South Wales, meaning that they are very low on their geographical location. We can oppose this to some of their other competitors, who all vary with their own prices and number of locations. Fitness First, for example, is one of the most dominant players in this industry. They do rank quite low on the affordability scale, however, they have many varying memberships that have differing qualities, which leads to different prices. Fitness First, alongside Anytime Fitness, both have hundreds of gyms all around Australia and have even started to open globally too. And that concludes the external environment. I'll now hand you over to Jack.
Thanks, Nick. So what I'll be looking at is the business level strategy. The first thing we'll be looking at is the 5 generic competitive strategies, and the second thing will be the uniqueness drivers. It's now time that we take a really good look at business level strategy. Simply put, it's a fantastic way for businesses like HISCOES to really exploit core competencies of its own product and to gain a competitive advantage in its industry. It's also really important to note the positioning of the business, which will be explored in depth, as this is a deliberate choice to deliver optimal value to the consumer segment and of course produce greater results to HISCOES' bottom line. Thompson 2014 discusses how a company's competitive strategy deals exclusively with the specifics of management's game plan for competing successfully. Irrelevant of which route you take to succeed in business, it is important to remember that you're trying to find a competitive advantage, which must always be at the forefront of mind when trying to succeed in industry. Now, as you can see in the figure on the screen, which is derived from Porter 1980 and expanded upon by Thompson, there are 5 types of competitive advantages which can be pursued. These include low-cost provider strategy, a broad differential strategy, a focused low-cost strategy, a focused differential strategy, and finally a hybrid of the 4, a best cost provider strategy. Now, due to HISCOES' attributes to be outlined next, we believe that a focused differential strategy will fit best, as it's where HISCOES can outcompete competitors with a product offering that suits specific tastes and requirements better for a narrow buyer segment. For one, the current trend in gyms are classes and the crazy variety that's out there. Now, HISCOES is involved in this, however, competitors like Fitness First, Good Life and so on are taking business away. It's incredibly important to remember the location of HISCOES. Surrey Hills in Sydney is a very prestigious suburb and very affluent, meaning people in that area do have more money to spare to spend on a higher level of membership. For this reason, the more niche aspects of the club, such as the squash courts, the old school philosophy that can't be replicated overnight, the tailored service offered, and also the simple services like fresh workout towels could really differentiate HISCOES in a really great way. As you can see in the slide, many of these aspects fit into the adapted version of Porter by Thompson 2014 of uniqueness drivers, the keys to creating a differentiation strategy. For instance, in the product features and performance category, the squash courts and specialty fitness groups really fit a unique standard of the gym that can't be matched by other gyms. The customer service is also very, very different to your standard gyms. For example, the specialised programs for all members, the little things like complimentary towels, and also the programs for everything from classes to powerlifting, weight loss, martial arts and nutrition. The range is really large for a family business. This is very impressive and something that people will be willing to pay for. Also in the sales and marketing category, special offers to get you in the door is a bit different to your standard 5-day trial. Instead, HISCOES offer a 28-day trial which really allows you to experience the culture. And of course, being started up by a multi-Australian squash winning champion, Windsor HISCOE, who opened the gym, really adds to the prestige. Finally, Ormandy and Stringer 2008 discuss a number of other theories in comparison to Porter's. In the end, however, they decide that whilst game theory explains some of how firms are in and out of industries, Porter's model provides a much more detailed analysis of why some firms are more successful than others. And that's it for business level strategy, and here is Sinead.
I'll now be discussing why HISCOES could not successfully internationalise and how they can adapt their business strategy to remain competitive.
Our firm's recommendation, based off HISCOES' business strategy, is that HISCOES Gym should not internationalise. There are 3 main reasons as to why internationalising may be unsuccessful for HISCOES, or at least for the foreseeable future. The first reason HISCOES shouldn't internationalise is that they have not even gone national yet. HISCOES is based in one location and has not established a chain of gyms. Therefore, going international, especially for the time being, could be reckless, harmful, and detrimental as they have not tested their business strategy out somewhere other than the gym that has been open since 1981 in Surrey Hills. The second reason HISCOES shouldn't internationalise is that they are a family-owned gym that are really hands-on with the business. They provide their members with exceptional service that they have been developing over the last 37 years, which essentially is what gives the gym its true value. This service would be difficult to replicate as it would not be possible for them to be as hands-on as they are in Surrey Hills in multiple locations, let alone internationally. The third reason HISCOES internationalisation may be unsuccessful is the fact that a third of the gym's clientele were long-term customers. Based off this statistic, HISCOES may be struggling to keep members on long-term if only a third have been there for a long period of time. This could possibly be due to them not being able to tap into the current trends occurring within the market at each given period. A representative of HISCOES said, "We don't have an option for failure, so we don't do very bold things, we do modest things. Going international does run the risk of failure and in essence is quite bold, especially in HISCOES' current standing point. Therefore, if HISCOES isn't internationalising, they must develop a modest way to remain competitive in this ever-changing market in order to ensure the greatest chance at success." HISCOES' current strategy is a focused differential strategy. This is achieved by offering unique features that fulfill the demands of a narrow market segment. One recommendation we would give as to how HISCOES might adapt this business strategy to remain competitive is to increase awareness to the narrow market through the use of technology and online presence. Currently, HISCOES has 600 followers on Instagram and approximately 1,000 on Facebook, with a slightly less than professional newsfeed. If HISCOES devoted resources to developing their various social media pages, they will be exposing themselves to a large portion of the market, which is a slight diversion off of their current strategy. However, the narrow market HISCOES are looking for will have a greater likelihood of being reached through this increased exposure. This will ensure they remain competitive as they follow certain trends within the market, however, while still targeting their niche customers and using their overall business strategy. Another recommendation we would give HISCOES to ensure they remain competitive is to offer a reward to loyal customers. A pitfall of using a focused differential strategy is the potential increase in costs that could ward customers off of your product, and in this case, a gym. Therefore, if HISCOES gives their members motivation to remain loyal through incentives such as free products and sessions every month or at particular time periods, the clientele are more likely to remain at the gym as there is constantly something to look forward to and make them feel like they are receiving good value for their money spent. HISCOES is a family-owned business, and adding this program to part of the service that they offer may commercialize the business more than the initial strategy had intended. However, it will build a strong customer base that will ensure they remain competitive without having to internationalize.
We hope you enjoyed our presentation on HISCOES Gym and our evaluation of their business strategy.